A massive cultural shift just completely transformed the landscape of modern entertainment, and it all traces back to an unforgettable, emotionally charged audition that took place in front of millions of stunned viewers. Walking onto the stage under the blinding lights of the studio, a completely unknown contestant from small-town America managed to deliver a performance so raw and deeply personal that it instantly shattered all previous viewership records. The artist performed an original ballad detailing an intense, agonizing battle with severe mental health challenges following the birth of her young child, a deeply painful topic that resonated universally with audiences worldwide. This sudden, overwhelming vulnerability sparked an unprecedented digital wildfire across every major social media platform, accumulating over 120 million views in a matter of days, and securing an absolutely unbreakable base of loyal voters right from the start. But behind the scenes, industry insiders were already whispering about the massive corporate machine waiting to take total control. The sheer scale of this sudden viral explosion took even the veteran producers completely by surprise, shifting the entire trajectory of the competition before the live voting rounds had even officially commenced. While previous seasons often relied heavily on heavily polished, traditional vocal covers of classic hits, this specific moment proved that modern audiences are desperately craving authentic, unvarnished human storytelling. Political commentators, media analysts, and cultural critics quickly began dissecting how a simple, poignant song about the quiet struggles of motherhood could unite a fiercely divided national audience. As the momentum continued to build into an absolute landslide, it became glaringly obvious that the final outcome of the entire season had practically been set in stone during those very first few minutes on stage, making her eventual march toward the grand championship trophy feel less like a competitive race and more like an absolute, unstoppable act of destiny. Standing outside the historic Nashville recording studios today, the atmosphere is absolutely electric as the music industry processes a truly historic victory that has broken a staggering two-decade-long dry spell for female country artists. Not since the legendary Carrie Underwood captured the national crown back in the mid-2000s has a female country performer managed to walk away with the ultimate top prize on this specific reality television stage. By stepping directly into those massive, iconic footsteps, this newly crowned champion has instantly inherited the immense, high-stakes expectations of the global country music establishment, which has been desperately searching for its next breakout superstar to dominate the airwaves. The symbolic weight of this moment was further amplified throughout the grueling season, as the music icon herself watched closely from the judging panel, providing a direct, passing of the torch narrative that captivated the entire nation. Yet the heavy burden of carrying a multi-billion-dollar industry's future is already beginning to show its first cracks. The historic significance of this specific win cannot be overstated, as the country music genre has faced intense scrutiny over the last few years regarding the lack of mainstream chart representation for solo female vocalists. Industry executives are openly celebrating this victory as a massive turning point, pouring an unprecedented amount of immediate marketing resources into capitalizing on the post-show momentum before the public's short attention span shifts elsewhere. The sudden transition from a quiet, rural lifestyle to being hailed as the savior of a traditional music genre is a dizzying, high-pressure trajectory that has completely overwhelmed even the most seasoned industry veterans in the past. As the initial euphoria of the historic finale night begins to settle into the reality of daily promotion, the intense scrutiny from both die-hard country traditionalists and modern pop audiences is starting to mount exponentially, leaving many to wonder if anyone can truly survive the crushing weight of such massive expectations. A closer look into the highly secretive legal contracts signed by these high-profile television contestants reveals an incredibly complex financial reality that stands in stark contrast to the dazzling wealth promised on screen. While the glitzy headline-grabbing announcements proudly broadcast a massive $250,000 grand prize package to millions of cheering fans, the actual flow of money behind the curtain is tightly restricted by an intricate network of corporate safeguards and strict milestones. Financial documents from previous seasons indicate that winners do not simply receive a massive, life-changing lump sum payment upon taking the crown. Instead, the grand total is meticulously distributed in heavily taxed, quarterly installments that are stretched out over a period of multiple years. Furthermore, a substantial portion of these vital funds remains completely locked away, only to be released if the artist successfully completes a grueling, high-pressure studio recording schedule within an incredibly tight time frame. And the financial traps only multiply once the high-powered Hollywood attorneys step into the room to take their massive cuts. Once the elite talent managers, entertainment lawyers, and government tax agencies finish carving up the initial prize winnings, the actual take-home wealth that lands in the artist's bank account is drastically smaller than the grand numbers advertised on television. This sudden realization often forces newly crowned winners into an immediate, high-stakes race against the clock to generate alternative streams of income through exhausting promotional tour and commercial endorsements. The stark contrast between the public perception of instant multimillionaire status and the actual, highly regulated corporate stipend creates an immense amount of hidden stress for the artist during a time when they are expected to appear completely flawless to the media. This complex economic structure ensures that the television network and the affiliated record label retain maximum financial leverage over the performer, keeping them entirely dependent on corporate approval as they attempt to launch their professional career. Legal experts specializing in the entertainment industry are raising serious questions about the absolute creative compromises required by the ironclad contracts waiting for reality television winners the exact moment the cameras shut down. Winning this massive national competition means immediately entering into an incredibly strict, legally binding relationship with a major global record label that exercises ultimate authority over every single artistic decision. Corporate executives hold the absolute final say regarding which specific tracks make the debut album, how the artist is visually styled for the public, and exactly what kind of musical direction they are permitted to pursue. For an independent, deeply authentic singer-songwriter who built their entire viral following on raw, unvarnished emotional storytelling, transitioning into a tightly managed corporate asset can feel incredibly restrictive and creatively stifling. But rumors are already circulating that a massive Backstage rebellion is brewing over the direction of her first official single. The intense, unrelenting pressure to immediately capitalize on the fleeting post-show hype means that the record label leaves absolutely zero room for artistic experimentation or creative disagreements. The studio schedule is notoriously brutal, forcing the artist to write and record a full-length studio album in a matter of weeks, a process that normally takes established musicians many months or even years to perfect. This industrial assembly line approach to music creation often dilutes the very uniqueness that made the performer a fan favorite in the first place, replacing their genuine sound with highly manufactured, radio-friendly pop formulas designed solely for quick commercial consumption. If the debut album fails to meet the incredibly high, immediate sales projections set by the board of directors, the label retains the unilateral right to quietly drop the artist from their roster, leaving them legally trapped and unable to release new music independently. The glamorous illusion of total national unity surrounding this historic season has been completely shattered by a wave of intense backstage controversy and fierce online debates regarding the legitimacy of the final vote. As the competition reached its high-stakes climax, a highly vocal and growing segment of the audience began launching fierce allegations that the judging panel was actively manipulating the narrative to favor marketability over raw musical talent. Major music critics and vocal coaches across the internet openly argued that several of the eliminated runner-up contestants possessed far superior vocal mechanics, greater technical range, and more powerful live control than the eventual winner. This sharp divide sparked a massive, highly public conversation about whether these modern television tournaments are truly searching for the absolute best musical talent, or simply selecting the most easily packaged, emotionally exploitable small-town story. And the unfolding drama behind closed doors suggests the tension between the contestants was far worse than anyone admitted. Fierce speculation quickly began to surface regarding intense, closed-door arguments between production staff and vocal coaches, who felt that the show's editing heavily favored emotional backstories over actual performance quality. The underlying friction quickly spilled over onto major social media platforms, where fan bases engaged in highly toxic, round-the-clock digital warfare, exchanging harsh insults, and analyzing every single frame of video for signs of corporate favoritism. This intense public skepticism has cast a noticeable shadow over the historic victory, forcing the new champion to constantly defend her artistic legitimacy to the press during her inaugural media tour. The lingering controversy highlights the deep cultural rift between traditional audiences who value technical perfection and a new generation of viewers who prioritize raw emotional relatability above all else, proving that satisfying the entire internet is a truly impossible task. A groundbreaking investigation into this season's unprecedented voting data has revealed a massive technological shift that completely altered the competitive playing field, leaving rival contestants at an insurmountable disadvantage. For the very first time in the long-running franchise's history, production executives integrated direct, frictionless social media voting systems directly into the broadcast, completely replacing the traditional, highly regulated phone and website methods of the past. This structural evolution played directly into the hands of the winner, who already commanded a massive, highly organized digital army of nearly 2 million loyal followers across multiple internet platforms long before the finale even commenced. This massive digital infrastructure operated like a precision-engineered political campaign, utilizing automated reminders, synchronized voting blocks, and targeted online trends to flood the network's servers with an unstoppable wave of data. However, the sheer, overwhelming volume of incoming data almost caused a catastrophic system failure during the live broadcast. Sheer, unprecedented scale of this digital onslaught actually caused massive technical delays inside the production control room during the live broadcast, forcing producers to scramble behind the scenes to verify the integrity of the incoming data. Rival fan bases have raised serious questions about the fairness of this new system, arguing that the competition has officially transformed from a legitimate singing contest into a pure popularity contest driven by pre-existing internet fame. Media analysts note that in the modern landscape of digital entertainment, a highly sophisticated, hyper-engaged social media footprint is infinitely more powerful than any amount of traditional television exposure or raw vocal talent combined. This technological breakthrough has effectively rewritten the entire playbook for future reality television contestants, proving that without a massive, pre-established digital engine running around the clock, achieving a national victory in the modern era is virtually impossible. As the bright studio lights are officially turned off and the celebratory confetti is swept away from the empty stage, the newly crowned champion faces the daunting, highly volatile challenge of building a permanent career in a notoriously brutal industry. The history of reality television is filled with cautionary tales of overnight sensations who achieved massive national fame on screen, only to completely vanish from the public eye just a few short months later due to poor management and shifting corporate priorities. The true test of longevity does not lie in winning the temporary television trophy or signing the initial, highly restrictive recording contract. Rather, it depends entirely on her ability to navigate the cutthroat politics of the music industry once the massive promotional machine of the network stops supporting her. But a shocking, unannounced move by her management team has just sent shockwaves through the entire Nashville community. The ultimate question moving forward is whether this small-town mother can successfully maintain her authentic, deeply vulnerable artistic voice under the immense, unrelenting weight of corporate commercial expectations, or if the system will completely reshape her image against her will. As music streaming platforms continue to be flooded with thousands of new tracks every single day, maintaining a loyal, paying audience requires an exceptional level of continuous innovation and grueling, year-round touring. The corporate machinery has officially provided her with a massive, multi-million-dollar head start, but the ultimate survival of her career rests squarely on her own shoulders. As the industry watches closely to see if her upcoming debut single can match the historic success of her viral audition, the entire world is left to wonder if modern talent shows truly create lasting musical icons, or simply manufacture temporary, disposable content for the entertainment complex.